Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the PiGosaur Monday number 25, your weekly dose of PiGosaur action. I'm, of course, your side VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to our first broadcast of the morning. Bright and early, and too early for puns. I was looking at the chat. I made the mistake of looking at the chat, papi. Yeah. But good to see you all. Good to see you all. Baby Ling, Psycons, Istan as well. Setsuna, Noam Chomsky, and many others. Welcome, one and all. Bienvenidos, buenos días. As we are jumping into our first series, we're jumping into our first ZvZ, and spawning in the top right hand corner of a kill switch, we have our American Zerg player, the orange Zerg for Team Born Gosu. It is HuntedSwarm. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player. It is Zergtanis, the Australian Zerg. Let's go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our matches. We jump into Kill Switch. Oh my god. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourself. The bracket is currently live. The bracket is stacked. We'll be going over the bracket after this series. Initially though, welcome one and all to Kill Switch. It has been a couple of weeks since we've featured this map. Kill Switch, of course, we did feature during the TLMC events, during the TLMC 20 broadcast that we did have over the course of the initial TLMC run, and Kill Switch was a relatively popular map as well. Has some unique quirks though. As you can see, it has some unique quirks. We have mineral patches here outside of the natural. We have a tower that you can knock down as well to destroy these patches or to wall this area off, but you do have to mine through these patches to get the safer third base location. You can expand forward, you can expand towards your opponent, but the space is more exposed, the space is more vulnerable. We have seen a lot of players struggle to defend these locations, so that is another path you can go for. Likewise, in the main base, we have slow zones coming into the main. We have Delnaga Tower inside the main base as well. We have to break through these rocks or mine through these minerals. We have gold minerals coming into the main. There's so much going on. There's slow zones, Delnagas, mineral patches, destructible towers. We got slow zones in the middle that are also destructible as well, because you can knock down these towers to destroy the slow zone. There's a lot. Which is what I appreciate. I do appreciate how much is going on here on Kill Switch. Likewise, also a very large area behind the natural mineral line, so any kind of Banshee harass or BC harass or any harass whatsoever in the mineral line can be punished even harder because there's just so much room in the natural. Same in the main base as well, as there's no dead space back here, so there's a lot to indulge in. But for now, ZvZ. For now, you know, a lot of that isn't really going to be a factor here. ZvZ, we have our initial openers. Hatch. Oh, delayed gas here from HuntedSwarm, going for a very fast third base. Oh my god, gasless. Okay, gasless build here by HuntedSwarm. Very greedy build here from our orange Zerg player. Meanwhile, Zergtanis across the map going for a much more standard build, going to link speed, pulling out of gas. So a more standard opener here by Zergtanis. Unfortunately, gets supply block losing that first overlord, so a bit of a misrally here from Zergtanis is going to get supply block that will slow him down, and that means that HuntedSwarm, he's getting away with this greed. Now, because gases are so late for HuntedSwarm, it is standard to skip link speed, and to go into roach play. If there it is, Roach Warren is on the way. So again, HuntedSwarm, this all makes sense. I will say this is very greedy, and typically this kind of build, you would get your third base denied. You would get your third base punished. Unfortunately, Zergtanis, he's not quite in the position to do so. Zergtanis, because of supply block, he's droning, he's throwing down his own Evo chambers, looks like he's going into his own roach play. This means that HuntedSwarm will get away with this greed. So coming into the early game, this is a better position for HuntedSwarm. He does get away with a lot of greed, he does get away with a lot of cutting corners, and there is no punish. We have a couple of lings that can be active, but these lings, they cannot really threaten the base. So this is a better position for HuntedSwarm. From here, he's building up his roaches. I don't see an Evo chamber, which is a little bit suspect. I would expect to see an Evo chamber here and +1 range or +1 carapace. I'd expect to see some upgrades. Without any upgrades, I'm tempted to say that this might be an all-in. This might be an all-in from HuntedSwarm. We'll see if he goes for a delayed Evo chamber, as I don't even see, okay, I was gonna say, I didn't even see a lair. Lair finally is on the way here for HuntedSwarm. A bit of a later lair, is what I will say. So later Lings, they do sub in, they confirm the roaches, they confirm the third base. Third base is late for Zergtanis as well. So again, this third base was after the Evo Chambers, after the Roach Warren. In this position, Zergtanis is strictly behind. He's behind when it comes to the Evo, when it comes to the third base timing, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to the upgrades as well. Yes, he got faster double Evo Chamber, but as you can see here, doesn't have the money for it. Doesn't have the money to actually invest in upgrades and make use of these Evo Chambers. So Zergtanis is falling behind here, and HuntedSwarm is looking solid, walling off here outside of his triangular third base, droning up, saturating, and now getting to later upgrades. But HuntedSwarm is looking quite solid overall here. Here we go. Likewise, Roach is going to be amassing. HuntedSwarm can try to hit a 1-1 timing. From here, HuntedSwarm should be free to just drone and saturate his third base. He knows that he's ahead. Now, it might be a little bit risky to drone up too hard just because you don't know if Zergtanis is going to all-in. All-in is going to be on the table here for Zergtanis. For now, though, Zergtanis is droning. He's droning up as well, saturating his bases. HuntedSwarm still enjoying a greater economy. Right now, the onus is on the orange Zerg player here to scout, to figure out what's going on, to make sure that he isn't being all-in. As right now, scouting is a little bit lackluster for both players. Both players are in the dark as to the economic game states here. Nice overlord spread here by Zergtanis. He has eyes on at least the main attack paths, that is true. His eyes on the attack paths. Zergtanis is droning, but HuntedSwarm is not. No drones for HuntedSwarm, and this is the kind of thing that Zergtanis needs to be aware of here, is just how safe is he really to drone up, because in the wrong moment in ZvZ, if you drone, you can die. Now thankfully for Zergtanis, HuntedSwarm, he's going for delayed droning and delayed saturation, and again he might not move out until he gets his upgrades. Link Scouts does get eyes on the Roach Ravager, and here comes the move out. Here comes the initial move out, and Zergtanis is not ready for this. Zergtanis is now massing up roaches, trying to build up. Alas, no Ravagers. And HuntedSwarm's moving in. He's moving in, the Ravagers are not ready! Yeah, they're not ready in time. And you can see here, the rush distance by ground is so short. You can see from third to third, there's one screen in between, if that. So very short rush distance by ground, especially if you expand towards your opponent, which both players did. And with that, HuntedSwarm just busts in. He just busts into the natural. The boys are being pulled. Roaches, they slip into every single base. A third, the natural, and the main. And from here, Zergtanis is being pulled apart. Picking up Queen, picking up Roaches. GG is called, and HuntedSwarm will take game number 1. Whew. GG. HuntedSwarm does take a lead here. Again, very greedy play by HuntedSwarm. As a reminder, HuntedSwarm, he went for a third hatchery without any gases. So very greedy build by HuntedSwarm. He got away with it. He was not punished by his opponent. Zergtanis did open up 2 base with a late third base. So Zergtanis did fall behind in the economy and had the option to all in, but chose not to. Chose to still expand, get into upgrades, drone up, and just did fall behind there. Did fall a couple of steps behind, and with that, GG. With that, that leads us into game number 2, and we'll see if we can bounce back, as game 2 is going to be on Sandworm. Let's go. Let us go. Just catching up in the chat. Just catching up. Oh, Esther Greenert. I believe Greenert is in the brackets? Question mark? Let me just double check. He should be, if he's not Funata Greenert. Hold on. Hold on. I don't see Greenert on the bracket. Este Greenert, what's going on? what's going on, Pappy? What's going on? Ay. Next time. As we're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Sandworm, we have our American Zerg player, the orange Zerg representing Born Gosu, leading the series 1-0. It is HuntedSwarm. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player from the land of Australia down in the series. We'll see if you can bounce back, representing Team Armada Angels Armada. It is Zergtanis. Here we go. Hello. as Zergtanis does move out across map with a drone. Drone scouts are very unorthodox and very unusual in this matchup, so I'm assuming this is not going to be a scout. We're going gas first. Gas first opener out of Zergtanis. Proxy hatchery as well. We're looking to cheese it up. And I would have loved this in the previous game just because of HuntedSwarm's build. For now, hatch pull. Hatch pull into another hatchery. Does HuntedSwarm go for a fast third base? If so, he's going to be vulnerable to an all-in. Zergtanis does take the gas geyser. From here, should be going for a spawning pool. It's going to be a late pool, so it's going to be gas hatch pool here from Zergtanis. This does mean that he has access to, I guess, earlier ling speed in a way. But yeah, we'll see how this all comes together here. We're piecing it all together. Oh, meanwhile, HuntedSwarm hatch pool gas does not rush into the third base. Again, if HuntedSwarm did go for the same greedy build that we saw in game 1, then I can definitely see HuntedSwarm being punished. But here is playing a little bit safer. Does go for a later gas geyser into eventually ling speed as well. Not being as greedy this time. Not 2 games in a row, which I appreciate. I appreciate that he's playing with the series overall. Meanwhile, we can see Zergtanis, he pulls out a gas, so it looks like only ling speed. So only ling speed, no banelings, no roaches. There we go. Pull is done. Ling speed should soon be on the way. Ling speed is in production. Queen's alongside it. HuntedSwarm just does scout because of the creep. Yeah, you see, does spot the creep. He is aware. HuntedSwarm does go for his third base on time, but for the most part should recognize, like, hold up, something's wrong. This creep doesn't quite make sense. Hopefully he realizes that that something is amiss. Ooh, as once again Overlord goes down. Zergtanis does overextend with that Overlord, does cause a supply block. This will slow Zergtanis down. We can try to spine rush the third, I suppose, but there are no drones, just lings. Yeah, just lings and queens. And now HuntedSwarm is aware. Now he is aware. I mean, I guess reinforcements are faster for Zergtanis. I guess. True. I'm just trying to piece together, like, the purpose of this hatchery. And I guess the queen adds some DPS. The third base is going to be denied. Should be cancelled. Ooh, that's a kill. That's a kill, not a cancel. Okay. Nice pick off. HuntedSwarm walling up here back at home. Spine Crawlers, Eva Chambers. We should be seeing a Baneling Nest, but alas, no defensive Baneling Nest. Bold move. Meanwhile, ling speed is done. And at this point, I mean, it's all or nothing for Zergtanis. Has to try to commit in. Does get a decent surround of these lings. Not bad. Yes, surrounds the lings. Going for the queen. Spine Crawler is almost done. The queen is going to be under fire. Say queen has arrived. The queen should go down, but ooh, lings, they back off. Lings, they back off for a time. This means that a transfuse might soon be available. Likewise, lings also amassing for a HuntedSwarm. And remember, the longer this goes on, the better it is for the orange Zerg. Like, we can start making more queens, more spine crawlers, a roach horn, a baneling nest. Start taking up. And unfortunately, there's no banelings for Zergtanis. It does pull back into gas. Getting a macro hatchery? Okay. Okay. Getting a macro hatch. There's that defensive baneling nest for HuntedSwarm. Lings a threat and a dive. HuntedSwarm doesn't have to be active like this, but as a result, is going to get surrounded. It's going to get surrounded here. This is a decent trade for Zergtanis. Picks up all these lings before the banelings are ready. So maybe the best trade that Zergtanis could have hoped for. Takes down these lings. But the queen should be sturdy behind this. Oh, as long as it gets surrounded. Yeah, there we go. We have a transfuse. Transfuse pops off. As lings, they try to flood in, but again, there's plenty to defend. Flooding in queens, spine crawler. HuntedSwarm should hold here. And now he's got his baneling nest. Baneling nest is now done, so we can now morph in defensive banelings. Again, HuntedSwarm being a little bit proactive there, and this just has to calm down. There we go. Here come the Banelings. And this is the answer. This is the answer to the problem that is Zergtanis in this game. He's going for his own Baneling nest, but this is a late nest for Zergtanis. This was necessary earlier if he wanted to try to break this position. Was necessary earlier. Oh god! Queen gets surrounded. And the connections are going to be good enough. Lings they try to bypass, but the queens are in position. Nice wall. Banelings they crash in, they shut down the Lings. And from here, HuntedSwarm, he does break through. He does break through the main army. Now he can counterattack across the map, gets surrounded on the queen. Queen goes down. And here come the Banelings. Here comes the swarm. The HuntedSwarm. Rocket's goes down. And I appreciate the unique build here from Zergtanis. I appreciate it. Definitely looks like he can use some refinements. As I mentioned before, like, he was actually oversaturated in his main base. He could have stayed in gas and gone into earlier Banelings. And committed a little bit harder early on. And GG gets called. Banelings are denied. And HuntedSwarm will take the series at 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. HuntedSwarm will claim this series. Again, we saw two different sides here from HuntedSwarm. Game 1 being hyper greedy. Game 2 being more defensive. Did scout, was able to respond well enough. And respond in time to defend, to hold on. GG. GG, well played. Ooh, HuntedSwarm, he will claim the series. Shout out to Zergtanis, of course, for competing, for taking part. Do appreciate it. As we are going to be following HuntedSwarm into the next round. Let's go. Let us go. Exclamation mark be in the chat if you guys want to have a look back yourselves.